Welcome back, folks, to Fatah's Labs, here to demonstrate to you the two postdocs on an electric fence, making use of the Python programming code. We will do that right now. So we're getting data from two nodes out on the fence, and the numbers are pretty stagnant, and that is because there is no power on out there. We're going to be waiting until we do in fact get a no power disconnect notification from either node before we go out. Now, I'm making use of a new algorithm which requires more time in order to lower the false positives, which I think is a good trade-off. And now we see two lights flashing as well in the lower right picture, or video, that they signify the nodes transmitting data to the gateway. Every red flash is node 1 successfully transmitting data to the receiver. Every green flash is node 2 successfully transmitting data to the receiver. And so, we are now just going to be waiting for anything to tell us that there is an alert of there being no power out there. And like I said, folks, it's going to be a little bit of a patient waiting game, because the algorithm certainly takes its time to be sure that it's not going to be a false statement to report, if possible. And the numbers, yeah, they are very, non-sporadic. So that, if you would actually look at numbers like this and see nothing but a bunch of like lower ones, especially in the right, hand side, you'd be thinking, that is peculiar. There we go. We've got node 1 that tells us that there is no power. Now let's see how long it takes for the phone to tell us. And there's the phone. And now for the Gmail. And there is the Gmail. So that's enough for me to go out and have a look. So I'm going to take the phone and I'm going to meet you out there, and we'll rectify the situation. Now, while I'm walking out to the electric fence outside, we'll see if we can get any more no power notifications, but I'm going to mention that I'm going to do an upstream ground to start when I turn the power on, for the sake of saving time for this demonstration, because the algorithm can take quite a while. So we will then have an immediate upstream ground, and there are two ground notifications possible with the postdoc, and that would be a ground detected and a downstream ground. If you only get the ground detected, that means likely that it is an upstream, but a downstream ground is there to actually tell you that, there is likely a downstream ground from whatever node, it gives you the warning. So then, bear with me, folks. I'll be out there very soon. It's just going to take a little bit of time. There we go. So, let's see that there is no power. We'll turn it on, and we should be getting some ground detected when the numbers get a bit bigger like that. See? Now node 1 tells us that there is indeed a ground somewhere. Now node 1 is the red one, which is further upstream, and the black one is node 2, and it is further downstream, essentially. So the electric fence line current is running in a counterclockwise direction. And so we're gonna, node 1 and 2 are both, telling us about the grounds, and the downstream grounds are not readily as detected as the just ground detected. And so we're gonna end up having to wait until one of the nodes tells us that there is a downstream ground, because it's just, a way to be more definite as to where it is. So, but that's just when we do a downstream ground. So for right now, we're only going to be getting the ground detecteds. At least we should only be getting the ground detecteds. And so I'll give it a little bit of time before I go and relieve the ground, and we'll get the proper data output. And so it's right there. I'll get some protection on and pull that off. And that's it. The numbers have now gone to the proper sporadic configuration that they need to keep the nodes from reporting an alert. And so then, no alerts, no warnings, all is good. Let's put now a downstream ground on. And there we have it. So we're immediately getting more ground detecteds. And so we'll just wait and see when we get a downstream ground, because that'll then tell us, you know, more precisely where the ground is at. And still waiting. So with just the, there we go. Node 2 has given us a downstream ground, which is exactly, practically where it is at. So that is good enough. And then we can just go and we'll leave that and see if node 1 gives the downstream ground as well, but it could take a while. So we'll just give it a little bit of time to see if we get any more notifications of the downstream, and then we'll put a ground in between the two nodes and see if node 1 only gives a downstream and node 2 does not. So bear with me again, folks. You can hear the clicking of that generator. That basically tells you that, yeah, there's no ground at all. So as long as you hear the click, all is good. Usually. And so, we'll put that middle ground in. And there we go. Ready to go. So in this situation, node 1 should be the one that gives the downstream notification, if anything. And sure enough it did. Alright. Well then, that would be that. I suppose we'll just give a bow down and a power out for each node. Just to show you that indeed, yeah, it is the node 2 is black, node 1 is red, powering off. And node 2 is recognizing no power, good. Alright, node 2, bowing down. And out. So now we're going to get node 1 talking to us. And thank you, node 1. Take a bow down and out. So that's that. And thank you from Fataz Labs. Over and out.